Good evening and welcome to the City of Cupertino Parks and Rec Commission meeting. Good evening and welcome to the Cupertino Parks and Rec Commission meeting for September 5th, 2024. I'm going to call it to order at 7 o'clock p.m. Jessica, would you call the roll, please?
Of course. Commissioner Bono?
Here.
Vice Chair Bush?
Yes.
And Chair Sharon. And we just have Commissioner Swami and Commissioner Stanek absent.
Thank you so much. All right, first we're going to go into ceremonial matters and presentations. And Jenny, do you want to introduce this?
I think Sonia's going to introduce herself.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're ready. Yes, I'll start my. Okay. Hi, good evening, commissioners. Thank you for having me. I'm Sonia Lee, and I'm the recreation manager overseeing the areas of youth, teens, events and festivals, and facilities. And I'm here to talk to you tonight about our summer programs and camps, our summer events and festivals, and our upcoming events. So we'll start with our programs and camps that happen this summer. The large majority of our camps and classes during the summer are offered through contractors. We offer a variety of special interest classes and camps, mostly camps, through the summer, such as Legos, robotics, origami, cooking, art, science camps. These programs are offered through mostly about 20 different contractors with agencies such as Snapology, Mad Science, UFRAT Museum of Art, Junior Chef Stars, Little Vets, and then Lisa Valero out at Wilson Park for ceramics programs. So it's a big variety of contractors that we have. Our individual contracts vary, but generally our contractor provides the specialty class or camp, but we advertise it and we take the registration for it. You can see our numbers this year were just a little bit higher, but we're kind of steady from last year. And our residency is also similar at about 70% this year. Okay. One camp that I call out is Adventure Camp, formerly Camp Cupertino. This camp is a little different because we actually hire the recreation leaders and we run the camp with our recreation leaders that are our part-time staff and our LITs or leaders in training. This is a traditional recreation camp in the past. That's the out on the field, playing the games, the crafts, the games and activities. We did rebrand the camp a little bit this year and we now call it Adventure Camp, but we did also add in STEM-oriented experiments and activities and a theme to each week. We also changed the format to be only an all-day camp rather than having the half-day and the full-day option that we used to have. Even though we were at a similar number, that was actually now all full-day campers. So in a sense, a little bit up. Another camp that's run similarly to this is run with our staff is our Preschool Adventures Camp, which is here in Quinlan's preschool room for ages 3 to 5. This one is a half-day camp, and it is run with recreation leaders, a preschool teacher, and again, our LATs work in this camp. And this is just a general learning through fun, arts, and crafts. And again, very similar numbers from last year and the same exact residency. Okay, just wanted to make note of our leaders in training program, which we call the LITs. We had about 32 participants. We do keep that at about that number because it's quite a process that we interview them, onboard them, train them, and they work hand in hand with our recreation staff. But this is a program that's important in and of itself, not only that it helps us and not only that some of them go on to be recreation leaders, but it's also something that we've heard from the community that they want those opportunities for their teens. When we had our job fair, we had a lot of kids show up that were not old enough to work for us, but they wanted to know what they could do in volunteer aspects for the city. Okay, an event that we had this summer was our morning 4th of July celebrations. We had the pancake breakfast that was hosted by the Optimist Club here at Cleveland. And then out in the park, we had the flag raising We had the parade this year, and whereas we've had the parade every year post-COVID, this was the first year that I felt we got a little fitting with more people decorating their bikes and their scooters and really kind of joining in. It was a really fun parade. And the parade ended and we started the concert in the amphitheater. And right behind the amphitheater out on the lawn, we had tons of games for people to play, and they could listen to the music and the kids could play the games, and we had a few like tattoos. So really basic, but very community oriented. And we had about 1,500 people that we estimated to have been there. And it was a very, very hot day. So it was pretty good showing for how hot it was. Okay. Our summer concert series, again, this year we had 9 concerts here at Memorial Park. And when Shakespeare comes in, they take over the amphitheater with their set. And so we move those concerts out to the lawn behind the amphitheater. Takes a little bit more for us to set up, but we've had a lot of positive feedback. Some people actually really enjoy the flat lawn to be out there. So it doesn't affect our attendance. We think about 300 to 400 per show. And once again, this year we did the Cupertino campout. This is already the 3rd year post-COVID that we've done this program. And our participants did go down this year. And this one we think probably, we know a lot of people wait to sign up for this campout. And it was a really hot day. And so we know some people sort of judge if they're gonna sign up and come and camp with us. It's also kind of billed as a beginning camping experience. We have scouts come out and kind of help people to set up their tents. A lot of times it's a family's first experience in camping. They'll try it out with us and then they go out to real camping. But we know that some of them kind of wait to see what the weather's going to be like. Once they're out there, we have s'mores and we do a movie, and then they have a continental breakfast in the morning. So it's a really fun event. Okay. Movies in the park. We held our movies this year, and there are 4 movies in the month of August on Fridays. You can see the titles that we showed this year. I'd say Migration was probably the favored movie. We had a lot of people there for that. But again, we estimate about 300 to 400 for every movie each week. Depends on the weather, depends on lots of things, but we have a pretty steady participation there. And then Shakespeare in the Park. We did have Shakespeare back this year. They moved from a paid contract that we've done in the past to being a facility use agreement. And per council's direction, Shakespeare actually did their own fundraising for the performances this year. But they did come in and use the amphitheater, and their performance was The Tempest this year. They had 6 performances on Saturdays and Sundays on the dates shown. We think the average attendance was just based on us getting estimates from them about 200 to 250 per performance. Okay. Sponsorships. We have had sponsorships in some of these programs, and I'll speak to it. The concert series was sponsored by The Rise, and they gave us $24,000 this year. Movie nights sponsored by the Library Foundation, and the very specific amount it's a kind of odd amount, but that they wanted to pay for the movie licenses, and so we gave them exactly what we were anticipating the movie licenses were going to cost, and so they gave us that many to go towards the movies. And then I believe it was included in your information today, but we have our event coordinator is working on soliciting sponsorships for all upcoming events in the next year. So you have that to look at in your packet, but it's just an ongoing thing to solicit sponsorship, and takes a lot of work. And so we are trying to get more organized and have, be ready when anybody expresses an interest of how we can work with them. Okay, and then upcoming September and October events, we have a teen speaker series, Business and Entrepreneurship on September 21st. This is kind of kicking off something that we want to get back to. A few years ago when everything was online, they had sort of started up, how can we get teens connected? And they had started to do these online speaker series and they're very easy to run, but it's something we've heard that the teens really want to have like information from people in business and how did you get there, what do you do? So we're starting that back up, but in person. And next we'll have Monster Mash, and this is a fee-based event that we have right here at the back of Quinlan. It's gained popularity a lot. It's sold out last year, and so we're looking forward to doing that again. And then Pizza and Politics is an event that we do every other year on election years. And this is a teen-centric event that we host with Saratoga and Campbell. And this is an opportunity for teens to get together and talk about local politics and have some pizza. So those are the events. Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna open it up now for commissioner questions. Maybe 3 minutes, 2 minutes, let's say 2 minutes, because obviously this is a presentation only and not an action item for us. So it looks like Commissioner Fleming was first. Cool.
Lovely. I really enjoyed seeing so many activities that you have done. One thing I wanted to know about the politics part, the pizza and politics. You said it's local politics, not national politics, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Right. How well informed are these people, and is there some kind of a presentation for the kids to talk about? Because I can understand how many of them are so busy in schools when they get together. Is there some kind of an overview that's presented so they are informed about it so they can talk through?
So yes and no, there's a format to the whole night. And so there's a debate portion, and that's a teen to teen debate. There's usually a section where council members will come and they'll talk and open it up to questions from the teen audience. And they're doing a third section this year that's a little different, and I can't remember what exactly that is because it's a new one.
Yeah.
But so there's a format to the evening, and it's not just showing up and looking at each other and expecting somebody to know what to discuss. They kind of provide the basic idea, and then the teens can participate.
How many students showed up or show up generally? This year, of course, it hasn't happened yet.
Yes, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened for 2 years. So I want to say it was around 50.
50?
Yeah,
Very impressive.
yeah,
I love
maybe
that.
more, but I want to say it was around 50.
And these debates are like Lincoln Douglas debates, or they're just like a topic is given and they're talking pro and con? How does it go?
Yeah, they give the format for it, and I don't know if it's like a true, I'm not sure how
Yeah,
structured it is as far as how they debate.
I totally love this kind of engagement because then you get involved and the students are really paying attention and talking. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Done.
Commissioner Bowman.
I just have two brief questions. The first one, the question is, do you have a general feedback from all the camps, the adventures and all the preschool in regards to, is it good enough? Do we do better? Anything on that end? Do we collect any feedback on that?
We do surveying periodically, and then the coordinators, it's really for them to work with their staff to get feedback. And so we definitely are always looking for like, what can we do better? A perfect example is the addition of like STEM activities to our adventure camp. That was just something that, less and less are we seeing that parents are wanting to send their kids to an unstructured day of fun, especially when they're older. They want them to be learning something. And so that was something just from feedback from the camp that we made a change.
Perfect. And my last question is, during the concert series, you raised 25,960 total. Is it enough money, or do you think that is there a better level of sponsorship that you are seeking that I don't know. Do you think it's enough? Do you think that that's what we will need for next year? Do you want more? Is there anything we can target, to try to get some kind of fundraising?
Yeah, we can always use more money.
I
We can always think
figure,
of things to do with more money. Now, as far as like paying the bands, that was probably pretty close to, over the 9 concerts, because it varies what we pay each of them. So that was probably pretty close, but if we had more, we might seek out bigger, more well-known bands that are a little bit more costly. So, yes, we're always seeking more.
copy, and just as a comment overall, thank you for a great presentation. It looks good where everything is up, especially the cam 6% is very nice. Thank you so much for your presentation. Commissioner Bush?
So that's really nice. Do you advertise besides besides the Cupertino site? Do you have like Facebook, Instagram, any other social media for advertisement?
Yeah, we have a marketing specialist that works with our department and works for our department. And so he usually coordinates for Facebook and Instagram posts to go out. So we will market there. We market on our website. We market in our activity guide as best as we can for events. Sometimes if they are happening last minute, they don't meet the time.
If we come across, we'll share it or like it, so more people.
We had a
know.
presentation here a few months ago, a month or two ago, from the social media person that outlined all the stuff you want
That
to look
was
at.
the month I was out.
Yeah, if you want to look at the YouTubes.
Yeah, good. We'll get, if you can send us the link or something. I know I missed that presentation, but. Or if you have it, you can send me the social media.
Because we started recording recently.
The link to the meeting.
To the
social media
Facebook or
presentation.
Instagram for the campus.
Marketing.
Oh. You want the link to the marketing presentation?
Yeah. No, to our social media address, links.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, I think it was. That was it.
So talk to me about how, I see the sponsorship opportunities sheet, which is great, for all the events. Talk to me about how it works, if you don't mind. Does someone go out and actively solicit, or is it more you're hoping for people in the community, open their pocketbooks and come to you?
Really good question. Yeah, so we're learning as we're going because seeking out sponsorships is fairly new for us. And if you look at the time frame that you need to be soliciting sponsorships for programs that are happening in a year, we need to be talking to them now for in a year. So it's very, very new when you consider that for us. So what our event coordinator is doing is developing a list, and she's speaking with the chamber, and she's going to develop a list of businesses, local businesses, and she'll be sending that out. But on a smaller scale, we've also sought out just by literally picking up the phone if we think something might work with like a certain kind of business for, I need to say something like boba or something, and then like we'll literally just call them and say, hi, would you be interested in working with us for this? And so it's a little of both, we have to have like a big strategy and a smaller strategy.
Great, thank you so much. And then I have a really short question, which is, I noticed, your numbers are going up a little bit for camps and classes in the summer. Is it the same, that's per participant, is it the same number? So I'm meaning, are the classes getting bigger? Or does it mean you're offering more classes?
That's a really good question. We're offering about the same number, but I wouldn't say it's going up like across the board. So when I show you like your total participants is up a little bit, that might mean that like certain camps, and I don't have that information for you broken down, but some camps are really booming and some of them are doing not as well. And so it's very mixed right now. And, we're trying to figure out those trends post-COVID, and this is really only the second year post-COVID that we've seen things more open to start to look at that.
Great, thank you so much. Oh, I'm not done. Okay, I'm gonna open it up if anyone wants to make some final comments, a minute worth of final comments if you feel it's necessary.
It's not necessarily, but just such a beautiful engagement of the community and what an amazing amount of work. And I like you were saying, I think if more people, I know you're doing everything you can to advertise it, but even though we know that there are these movies going on, I think sometimes the time and the date passes and then you realize it's there. So I don't know how we can do better. I don't know how much more we can do. I know you're doing all you can. But just a question out there, like it's such a wonderful set of activities that you have, right?
Yeah, it is. It's great.
Commissioner Bush?
One thing in some of these settings, movies or concerts and all, is there a way we can offer different ways of sitting arrangements? So yes, some people may sit on the grass, but then if you have some chairs and tables or something that we provide, then some of them may prefer that. And then maybe you can attract some of the people. And, of course, people bring their own chairs, but I don't know, some alternate arrangements
Like schools with-
without disrupting the park beauty or park.
Playgrounds with
Uh,
beaches.
Whatever activity you are doing, particularly the concert side or movie side, are we able to offer a little more variety of?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that we've seen a need for, just because like I often walk back down in the evenings for the concerts and I'm not one to like go into the amphitheater and sit on the hill. But I will sit on like the wall of the memorial or I will go to the
So
picnic
there are
tables.
options.
There's other options out
That's
there.
it. That's all I.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
thank
We
you.
appreciate you coming in and telling us all about these wonderful activities that are available to our residents.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to move along to approval of our minutes from the August 1st, 2024 commission meeting. And can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Commissioner Swami, seconded by Commissioner Bono. And is there maybe 1 minute if anyone has any changes or discussion that they need to talk about?
I reviewed it and everything was just tip top. Perfect.
Great. Okay, let's go to the vote.
Commissioner Bono, Commissioner Swami,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bush, Chair Sharon.
Yes.
Motion carries with 4 yes and 1 absent.
Great. Do we have any postponements?
No postponements.
So next we're gonna have oral communications. Do we, I see we have someone with us this evening, thank you. And do we have our blue speaker cards?
Yes, so we have 1 speaker card here. Welcome Lolita.
Hi, my name is Lalita Malwara and I come here. So I have a plot in the McLean, community garden. And I have been there for a long time and I'm one of the bunch of people who are being turned out and we have to give back our beds in November. That is because in McLean Ranch, there is a wait list of about, last time I checked, 2 days ago, it was 55 wait list. And in Wilson, another place where we have community garden, it's 22 on the wait list. So we were told we hand over, but around October 1st, I think, we can get back, we can put our names into the wait list again, queuing up. So that when they release, they're given in the order of the wait list. I come here because I noticed that we have a CDA citizen there. I have seen her for a long time, and she speaks very limited English, but she tends to her garden very meticulously. It is something that I've seen her come several times, and we do it, and she uses the produce and everything. My thing about why I come here is asking her to go back and stand in the line again, it doesn't make sense. Because it takes a long time, time and money to set up the bed. It sometimes can, to get to the level of work, soil productivity, it can take up to a whole cycle of a year. And to ask her to do it again, the same thing, set up all the, all the protective gear and everything, because it's near the preserve. So there are many things we as gardeners, we put in a protective, we cannot use straps. But no active intervention, but we can have preventive measures like. It's really engineering geniuses out there, you should see that. So I've come here to say that senior citizens who are people who are on limited budget, they shouldn't be allowed, they shouldn't be asked to hand over their gardens at the end of the season. I just wanted to ask that. That's
Thank you very
my
much.
petition.
Thank you.
And also, I would like to plug in that we have a demand in the society, in the community for the vegetable beds. So here is my suggestion, or maybe, is maybe, in each of the local parks, just like in Wilson Park, I believe they haven't visited there, but I believe there are 10 beds over there, 10 or 20. And this is much smaller compared to the McLean Ranch. So maybe in the local parks, if you build limited structure, it would help the community go in there. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We obviously get to discuss this because it's not on the agenda right now. But perhaps, maybe we could have just a future discussion on what the rules are for community gardens so that we can understand them a little bit more. Is that possible?
Did you want to put that on a future agenda? Do you want to wait till the future agenda to?
I do, but I can mention.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, this is says Lady King,
Yes,
so I want to make sure
absolutely.
that she knows that we care about this particular issue.
Yes.
Tonight.
Thank you.
If there's any way you guys can reach out, reach out.
Yeah, and our next presentation, our staff presentation next month at the meeting includes the whole corridor, so it has McClellan and Blackberry and the golf course, so the gardens, I'm sure, will be part of their presentation next month.
Okay, so I'll come next month.
Yeah,
Says, thank you.
yeah, but we'll pass on your phone.
Is it okay if I leave?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, yes,
Okay, do we have any written communication this evening?
The commission did receive a written communication and it will be included in the record.
Right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, do we have any old business?
Old business.
All right, we're gonna move on to our new business, which is our community funding grant program written reports. And well,
Just simply back to us.
welcome to Center. Nice to have you with us.
Great. Good evening, Chair, fellow commissioners. During tonight's meeting on community funding, I'll be providing an update for fiscal year 23-24 awarded organizations. And I just want to remind you that this update is not for the previously awarded 24-25 organizations that was brought to you earlier this year and recently approved by council this June. And those annual reports won't be submitted till July of 2025. Just a quick recap for 23-24, a total of 32,500 was awarded in community funding to 7 organizations. And the community grant or the community funding grant policy states that the grant recipients need to submit written reports to show that the grant funds have been spent in a way that was stated in their application. So then I'll provide a brief update for each organization right now. So for Cupertino Symphonic Band, 4,000 was received and they expended 4,000 on their annual report. So these funds were used to purchase music stands, sheet music, percussion and band equipment. And for all of their performances, they they noted that they served 2,000 residents, Cupertino residents. And then if you want additional breakdown of material, that's also provided in detail on their annual report in attachment B. So for No Time to Waste, their program is 7-250 Feed the Need. So their program recovers surplus food from grocers, restaurants, and hospitals and caterers 7 days a week. And then they partner up with charitable outreach program partners, which include homeless shelters, food banks, and food pantries within the county. So they stated that they recovered over 15,500 pounds of food during 12 months, which is equivalent to almost 13,000 meals for those in need in Cupertino. And for West Valley Community Services, they received $10,000 and they reported that they expensed 10,000. So every year they have the Gifts of Hope program, which provides outfits and food to homeless and low-income families during the holiday season. So these include like toys, small household appliances, and then like winter clothing, coats, gloves, hats, and blankets. And they reported that they served 290 Cupertino residents. And then they recorded their results using client surveys. The next organization, STEM Boost, they received 4,000 and reported that they expensed $4,000. So they use their funds for their elementary science Olympiad Fun Day workshops. So these funds were used to purchase materials used. So these include books, posters, material for science demonstrations. So like baking soda, bottles with students. So 100% of their attendees are Cupertino residents. And then that they had 305 attendees. The next organization is INOC. They received 2,500 and reported that they expensed 2,500. So their program, they provide free vision eye care, which includes eye exams, prescription eyeglasses at no cost to Cupertino Unified School District and underserved communities in need. And they reported that they served 7 Cupertino residents. The next organization, Omniware Networks, they received 4,000 and reported that they expensed 4,000. So Omniware Networks, they organize events with the senior center and they improve seniors' mental well-being. So they set up a senior talent show and then they had social movie and social times, and then they had a celebration picnic, and they had art and handcrafting workshops, and then they provided cultural tours of Hakona Garden, and then their funds, they used it towards their program and event materials, and they reported that they served 500 Cupertino residents. So our next organization, Asian American Parents Association, they received 3,000 and reported 3,000 in expenditures. So AAPI, they had the Multicultural Festival, which was held on May 11th at the Civic Center. So these included 6 booths and sponsor booths, and then they had 9 performances that detailed performances from Vietnam, India, China, Korea, and the Philippines. And then each of these performances gave the attendees opportunity to learn about the different Asian heritages and traditions and fostered unity and appreciation. And they reported that 200 Cupertino residents were in attendance. And that is the update for the 7 organizations, and opening up to questions.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up for commissioner questions. How about we start with like 4 minutes? If you don't have to fill it. Commissioner Swami.
Thank you. Feed the Need, I saw that there are 25 food donors and they actually give leftovers, right? So when they're with leftovers, I'm wondering if they can really predict how much is going to be left over and how many people really are there, do they fall short? Are there any kind of programs that you allow private parties that people hold? And there can be a lot of leftover food. Can those be donated? Is there any legal implication? What are some of the issues? Can you talk through this?
Yeah, so the numbers that they provided in their application was just like an estimate. So the numbers that they provided in their annual report, they have this metric app that they use, and then it records the total number of foods or the total amount or the total pounds of food that they collect. So then for each recovery, they weigh the total pounds of food from each food donor, and then they record the number of meals or the number of sides recovered. And then with their kind of food recovery calculator in their app, they convert the pounds to the food recovered, and then they kind of estimate how many meals are being served. So with Feed the Need, No Time to Waste, they partner with West Valley Community Services, and they deliver food to Cupertino 4 times a week. So most of this food comes from the Kaiser in Santa Clara. And then they deliver Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then they also have random kind of weekly deliveries from local bakeries and restaurants. And then most of these, I'm not sure what the requirements are. I think there are kind of specific requirements to kind of take leftover food at the end of the day and just kind of like just hand it out to like someone on the street. So I think there's kind of like an agreement between the food donor and then also the outreach program partner. They probably have some type of like MOU or agreement in place.
They go around handing it out to the homeless people, or they are located in the place?
In homeless shelters and food banks and food pantries, so they kind of partner out with the food donors.
And my second question was, can there be private parties and can the food be donated? Is there a provision for that? Are there any legal implications?
I think there might be legal implications with private, but I can look into it and then get back.
Really appreciate it. So now I think I'm done. I have more. I'll ask.
It's okay.
No,
You can reserve your time.
Yes.
I'm up. That's fine.
Okay, I have a couple questions. I think I noticed the same thing as Commissioner Swamy. If you notice on No Time to Waste on Feed the Need, they had Cupertino residents of 12,989, which is approximately a quarter of all residents here in Cupertino. So that number, not very believable, because I know that a quarter of our residents are not going to West Valley Community Services. And if you notice on the West Valley one, they actually break it out. If you notice, it's a percentage. So I guess my overall question is, how do we get these applicants to give us give us numbers that are actually accurate, not just wildly inflate them? I mean, I guess that's my first question.
So for their justification, so I think that their 12,989 meals, they kind of took it as in 1 meal per person, but one person could be getting 3 meals a day or something like that. So with their food calculator conversion, all they did was convert the pounds of food over 12 months to the number of meals, and then I think they just assumed 1 meal per
Oh,
that.
but this is number of meals.
It's number of meals. That makes much more sense. And that's why I'm getting like comments. Basically, we just need to work on that sort of thing. The other thing is, thank you so much. This is a great summary. But what I'd love to have is to have this available when we do our, because a lot of those people are come back, right, every year, have exactly this available to us in the next, when we go to the next time we're looking at these. So if we could do that, that would be wonderful, just to include this, because, these sorts of questions that we have. And I was making notes about, like, for example, the eyeglass, 7 residents, it was $2,500. It's good to know when they're asking for money, how many residents are going to actually benefit from it. So, so again, thank you. That is my only question. Is that possible to have this available?
So you're saying for future or during the new cycle, the new program, we want to include an attachment that shows kind of.
The historicals.
Yeah, what would be really helpful is literally grant received, and because we now know, like, they used it the way they're supposed to. Grant received, total, residents or meals in this case, received. So really that sort of information.
This presentation.
This presentation, if you want the whole, if that's easier for you, but for me, a summary is kind of nice too.
So I know for when we do our presentation in March, we do provide kind of a historical breakdown of what was done the previous year and if they were awarded and how much they were awarded.
Right.
So if you want that additional information, maybe we can add a column or we could just, keep that as presentation as an attachment reference.
A column would be great to say how many residents, really, that's what it is. Cause I'm kind of in my head going through the money per resident, like, what are we getting out of this? We as a city. So, okay, one more question.
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Two follow-up. One question that I'd already asked was, what about the number of meals? Because can they predict the leftovers? It's not very clear that it's going to be consistent. So how many, are there any homeless people that come to these shelters where they run out of meals? And where does the $5,000 go? Does it go towards the labor of putting it into boxes or to buy more food? Where is it going?
I think in their annual report, they said that most of the funds were used during the transport of the food. So to get from, they have volunteers or drivers that will pick up from the food donors to deliver it to the homeless shelter or the food pantry.
That's what the $5,000 is used for. Okay. And the other question, there are not of how do they predict?
So they probably look at their numbers from the previous year and kind of just estimate it. But like I said, in the application, it's just like an estimate. And then in the annual report, they'll give us the actual numbers.
I don't think I communicated my question. Leftover food you can't predict.
Yeah.
So what do you do when homeless people don't have food?
That's a question for the organization,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I apply for it.
That's a.
Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot, just out of
Oh, yeah.
curiosity, what are some of the programs that are in place? Thank you. It was very helpful.
Okay, we're gonna go on to comments. Maybe just a minute, unless.
My little comment was just that. We obviously, I'm homeless today and I'm eating 3 meals, obviously breakfast, lunch, dinner is separate time slot. That's why they're putting number of residents, but it's divided by the number of meals done. Even in snack, it can be up to 4 times a day. So-
I think it should be said.
And
not
it
clients
should be, but because indeed it could be confusing, like we
Yes.
don't have 12,000 residents, like out of 65, really. So it can be misleading,
Yeah.
that's that little thing, but it needs to be broke down. Cupertino resident or 3 or 4 meals a day.
Yeah.
But that was my only comment and I knew this was gonna come up, that's why I said you need to have it come. So, thank you.
No, I'm fine, everything.
It can be hard to say how many clients, because like I said, I might be homeless and I go multiple times, so maybe number of meals is better. Because I can't see how they can track.
Anyway, now we know. But it's
Well,
been-
honestly, you could have a 10 people here.
Right.
It's 10 meals for that time
Exactly.
slot. Can be for lunch or breakfast, but then they keep on counting, it's like going to the museum, you look at how many people come in, doesn't matter if they stay 1 minute,
That's
if they
right.
eat something, it's still one.
Exactly.
Okay,
Excellent.
I have just a comment. And this is really just that, is that, can you refresh my memory about, when the last time we went over the application form? As far as what's on the application form?
I believe the application, so the policy was revised in 2022.
Okay.
I believe that was the last kind of formal revision. I don't think we can add new questions or anything like that, because that would have to go through council. But if you want to make like format changes, we can discuss about that for the application or the annual report
Okay.
formatting.
That's basically it. is the, so that's my general comment is that a lot of times, at least the last couple of years, sometimes the responses from the applicants, because it's an online form, they roll off and then we lose bits or things are kind of hot because I'm sure that you are, scanning or something like that. But basically, that's always a problem for us, to read that. So somehow I'm just hoping that could be fixed. That's all, that's my only comment. So again, thank you for the great presentation and we appreciate you coming in. Twice a year. No, 3 times a year. 3 times. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Staff and commissioner report, staff report, please.
Yes. Slideshow. Sure. In March, council directed the city manager to develop qualification criteria for future commission applicants. As part of the process, staff is surveying all commissioners on potential questions to include. The survey should come out on Monday. Please keep a lookout in your email. The Jollyman Park parking lot will be closed weekdays, 7 AM to 4 PM, Monday through Friday, September 9th through September 20th, as part of the work associated with the all-inclusive playground. Pooch Plunge is this Saturday at Blackberry Farm Pools. There are 4 blocks of time from 9 to 12:45. This event is sold out.
Question, can there be like people just watching with no dogs or?
You can watch without your dog.
That's what I
You
meant.
wanna bring
I'm not
your
gonna bring,
dog?
no, my dog is not coming.
Yeah, yes, you can go watch.
Okay, because I think it'd be so fun to see the dogs.
It's fun, it's pretty fun to see.
Yeah. I think let's come back.
Yeah. The 50 plus golf tournament is coming up on September 25th at the Blackberry Farm Golf Course. And Recreation Event Volunteers, REV, is a new volunteer program in our team division. Teams can volunteer year-round at our various events, which provides us with added support and allows them to fulfill community service hours for school. And that's all I have today.
Sorry, I'm adding something to my calendar. Okay, and this, do any of the commissioners have a report? Yeah, I do not actually report either. It's been a very quiet month with the council, you know, being on vacation and something like went on, but I think I gotta go to lunch. Okay, and one note I would like to make, again, if you could pass along my thanks to staff, for being just incredibly, what's the word?
Incredible.
That's too. Kind to local residents when they're doing movies in the park.
Yes.
They are just, they clean up, it's done when it's supposed to be done, they turn the lights back up, everything is great, so. Good job and please pass on my thanks. Okay, future agenda set, does anyone have any items to put on the future agenda?
I think you just said something, the future agenda item. Other than that,
Okay, future, are you talking about the lady who came in? Yep, okay, that would be wonderful to find out what the policy is and just.
We can do that. I think your next meeting only has that presentation so far in the
Perfect.
agenda, so we could put it in there as part of
That would
that
be great.
presentation.
Thank you.
So you want to be familiar with what the policy is specifically around the duration of time that you can have a bed or?
Yeah, like all the, how the waiting list works, duration of that, yeah, that sort of thing.
and how much space?
Yeah,
How big the beds are?
yeah, those are pretty standard.
Sense.
Yeah, it would be nice, because then if we will know enough in case we want to potentially make this a work plan item for next year. So, the other was, it's something that I mentioned to Jacinta is the concern about making sure that for the future, that we can read all the items that are, from the online applications for the different applicants to the grant program. So that's actually my concern. I don't know. How, if we agendize that, what we should do. We could talk about that in our agenda settings a little bit more if you want.
We actually, I think we talked about it a little bit at the last one, and we met just and talked about what we could do.
Okay. So maybe it doesn't look to be an agenda item yet. So let's leave that aside. Commissioner Bush.
Yeah, I think 2 months ago when I attended the meeting, I went over my New York parks tour.
Mhm.
And one thing I liked is, having chairs and tables just randomly in a corner and people using it and kind of to increase the use. So I was thinking that, I don't mind if we have a, see if we can have a pilot program to say at Cupertino Library, and I can, I think I'm ready to raise the fund for that, if required, just for a pilot for few tables and chairs and see how much people are using, because that park is very much used, and there are shops around, so businesses will benefit. And so I know benches are not very convenient on the library part, but if we have a free flowing chair and tables kind of things, like I had shown how they are doing in New York and all, and I saw it in Switzerland too. I think that would be worth trying, and see if more people will come or sit there and buy a coffee, buy a sandwich. So businesses will benefit.
Currently, where we put tables and chairs in a park is based on our park amenity improvement program. And those were based on a survey that all the commissioners and staff did of all of our parks a few years ago. And those are the priority places that tables and chairs were going to go. So that's the process we follow right now.
Right.
When is that up again?
I don't think there's a deadline on when that's up again. I don't know if that's something that you want to put on a future agenda setting item as far as.
Oh, about looking at park amenities?
I have to look at what we would.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't wanna do it too often, but
Yeah.
I think it's probably been 3 years. So it might be worth, okay, so it might be.
So yeah, I think we should do it. And is that the only way you can have? I mean, I'm saying
Well, you
pilot.
personally could donate to the city, but you have to follow the donation policy and you can specifically. That's really for memorial, but there's memorial benches and then there's donations for specific items. But that doesn't mean that's where you could say, this is where I wanna put it. And staff could determine that that's not somewhere we want to put one.
Oh, okay. So can I work with staff ahead of time to understand where they put and decide if I want to support or not?
We can speak offline about it, if you want to contact.
Yeah,
That would be great.
but this survey. may-
So let's, if we can add the park amenities.
We'll look into what, yeah, when
Yes,
it was.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, offline is probably the best way to discuss this.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But the survey will be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Swami.
Thank you. One comment on that survey, is that survey going to be specifically for this purpose?
I don't know, there's something called park amenity survey. I haven't seen it, but
Yeah. I think adding a few questions, to the existing survey makes more sense, because each survey, from my understanding, is like $200,000 or something, which is.
No, this was a survey that was done internally by staff.
Okay.
That was given, all the commissioners went to every park that we have and.
Oh,
walked
that's
around
not
the
Parks and
parks
Rec,
to
it's not
see
the survey.
what they thought was missing or we could use more of, and
So
then.
it's not that survey, but.
No,
Yes,
no,
I
it was
understand.
just internal, and so we have to reach out to Susan and see what our thought was, I think that was, yeah, easily 3.
But how often?
Correct, we were gonna revisit that.
My question was really not that. My question was, I wanted a new, just throw an innovative idea and see if it was within the purview of this, or can we even consider it? Especially when that lady came and said that there are a lot of, the community park space is in shortage and there are more people and there's a waiting list system and so on, right? So just like in eBay or some kind of a platform, there's so many homes where people might be open to, they're not really tending their garden. They can perhaps make it open and allow people to match and say, hey, do you want to do that? Here's a patch, you can develop it and they can share the produce. whatever they want to do, because there's so many houses that are very unkempt, there are older citizens who can't really take care of it. So it could be a great win-win situation, the garden gets extended and there is land and it would be great. Is there something that we can think through and potentially allow this kind of matching without any legal ramifications? So say it's between the two of you, but here are the various places to match people and you can figure out.
I can say that we can only ask for very limited amounts of staff time beyond their regular operational duties. That would be beyond.
No,
their-
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm thinking about is more like just build a platform and people can match themselves.
But somebody has to build that.
Someone has to build a platform and they
And
have to
that's
come, if we're gonna talk about it, they would have to.
They could
provide-
even put it on
It's
eBay.
there already.
It's already, the platforms are already there. It could be something that Cupertino City can say, hey, you can use this platform or just
You
create.
can't do anything that doesn't have legal ramifications, so that would be something that would have to be.
It would have to be on the private side.
Yeah,
Like that.
Figures.
I think it's
It's a good idea.
yeah, it's a good idea, it's just. I know.
It's a good idea, but it would be more better intertwined between owners and their
Yes,
and their
yes.
privacy.
But if we can at
laws.
least advertise it and let them know such a platform is there, we have no legal ramifications. It's
That's your
between you
$1 million
guys.
idea.
Yes, we would have to have it as a work plan item.
Yeah.
To do it, so, that's worth noting down because obviously we're already in September.
Yeah.
So we're getting closer to when we
Yeah.
talk about work plan, so that's what I,
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
So I really feel bad for a lot of these old people who are not mowing their lawns.
okay,
I can't wait to
Future
turn this
agenda
off because it
Commissioner
I had another question following up Vice Chair Bush regarding the park amenities. Can we, and I don't know if we do that, but I need to ask, can we do rentals? Make sure that, for example, we align with a furniture store from Cupertino. If anyone wants to rent them, then we can make that available, maybe with an additional markup for the city and make it available as an amenity instead of buying it, donating, but we can also look into the rental side of it.
For
And
the-
advertise it.
What,
For
what
park
future,
amenities.
what future agenda item would you like to have?
The park amenities.
Okay, so you want the review, you also would like the second,
Yes.
a review of the park.
Because there's an opportunity to also for the city and Parks and Recreation to provide an additional amenity, but it could be also for those that wants to rent the park, but also wants to rent the material with.
Okay, the park amenities are a specific budget in the Cupertino budget. And what it is it's meant for specific things that go into our park. So if you're looking at possibly a new plan for how to pay for things or how to use our facilities, that would have to, again, be a work plan item because it would require staff time to determine whether or not it's possible. It's not that it can't be done, it's just, it can't be a future agenda item because they are not, it's not part of the current operational work.
No,
It's
I
a new
hear,
thing.
I'm just
So
thinking
we can't
about the
talk
city
about it
making
because-
money. Got it. I hear.
Yeah, they're not ready to talk about it.
No worries. That was
But
mine.
let's keep it in mind for our work plan for next year.
Yeah, definitely.
We have some great ideas.
Yeah.
So through the chair, I can just clarify our future agenda items. So the first one that I have is that Chair Shannon has requested information on the community gardens as well as the policies that are attached to that. And then Vice Chair Butch has requested an update on park amenity improvements, specifically how often they are to be revised. I think that's what we're kind of aiming for. And then Commissioner Bonus. Does that sound
Yes.
perfect?
Wonderful. Okay, moving on. I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. Meeting is adjourned at 7:50.